The consequences of decades of neoliberalism in countries around the globe range from soaring inequality, devastating financial meltdowns, deepening political corruption, growing authoritarianism, and even amplification of the effects of climate change. In 2017, the richest 1% of the global population held 50.1% of the world's wealth, while the poorest 50% of the global population held just 1%. The global economy can be said to have technically recovered after the most recent financial crisis in 2008, but upon closer scrutiny it becomes apparent that the large majority of this recovery went to the wealthiest in our society, leaving vast numbers of people in financial precarity or outright poverty. Those responsible for the recession were not punished, but lavishly rewarded. These economic crises are now being compounded by political and cultural crises. Fascist and white nationalist organizing has been revitalized by people dispossessed by decades of neoliberal economics, who have become susceptible to despair, hatred, and authoritarian sloganeering. These movements are given strength by cooperation with wealthy backers who use fascist movements as a vehicle for their own neoliberal policy goals, such as further tax cuts or deregulation. Our federal government, captured by private interests it is meant to regulate, is drowning in dark money and completely unresponsive to popular demands. Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, who worked to preserve neoliberalism in the Democratic Party, helped create the necessary conditions for the election of Donald Trump, whose victory can be explained by, among many other factors, the failures of the Democratic Party to admit its complicity in the operation of neoliberalism and to construct a party platform explicitly opposed to it. While Trump and the Republicans are arguably more neoliberal than the Democrats, they were able to harness the populist tide born from disdain with the status quo that Clinton and the other neoliberal Democrats represented. Democratic socialist challenger Bernie Sanders could have siphoned that support from Trump, but was denied by the neoliberal wing of the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party, which first flirted with neoliberalism all the way back in the Carter presidency, was left holding the bag of neoliberalism while the most scandalous candidate in history got away with the presidency. In the absence of a strong and uncompromisingly pro-labor and anti-neoliberal alternative, national politics will continue to grow increasingly vicious and unhinged from reality. The standard neoliberal prescriptions of deregulation, privatization, austerity, and incarceration will continue unabated. Our new politics of xenophobia will produce more border walls, travel bans, deportations, gun violence, violent terrorism, racial and ethnic discrimination, and military aggression that will continue to weigh on the lives of everyday people.